In a shed somewhere in England, lorry mechanic and former motorcycle racer Guy Martin is about to try something new.
How we're looking, boys?
He's going to watch his TV shows.
Oh, this brings back bloody memories, all this. I'm not a big TV watcher anyway, and if I was, why would I be watching the programmes that I do? Because I know exactly what went on. There's no surprises, boys, because I was there. You know, I was there. I'm not going to lie, I have watched a box set before.
Love Island?
Love Island? Get a grip.
Over a few nights, Guy's settling down to view his back catalogue, built up over 10 years of making programmes.
Bloody lovely. I'm 38-year-old now, and I still feel like a bloody kid. Except I've got a family and 2 dogs.
No! Steve! No! No.
So it seems I've got a bit of time going spare. We'll watch a bit of TV.
On the agenda for tonight are 4 of the biggest projects Guy's ever been involved with.
Hey, you can see we're going to be here a day or two, can't you?
When he helped restore, maintain and build some of Britain's most iconic war machines.
Jump in.
No messing, boy, no messing. War machines? Yeah. The restoration of the Mark I Spitfire. What a job that was.
There is something.
Then we got on with the Vulcan, which was sort of a grand farewell to the Vulcan, because it was getting packed up.
I got a bit of a shiver on me.
Then there was the tank, replicating a Mark IV tank. Originally built in Lincoln.
This, without question, is a massive undertaking, the biggest job to date. How good does that sound?
And then the Dakota got chucked out the back of it. Proper parachuters. I loved it.
First up this evening is an extraordinary restoration project. Rebuilding a World War II Spitfire.
How many years ago was this? 4 or 5? And it went on for a year, I think, didn't it?
2 years.
Went on for 2 years.
It's not very big, is it? Hey? Ah, heck.
The project actually began 8 years ago, and for Guy, this was a dream job.
Oh, bloody hell, yeah. Second World War. Brought up with it. My dad's dad went up the beaches on D-Day. Mum's dad is Latvian, who was on the other side. Yeah, so my dad's always been rattling on about the Second World War when everyone was being kids. Yeah, and getting a chance to rebuild a Spitfire, Mark I Spitfire.
The ultimate. You can get to work for a Formula 1 team, but I'm not bothered. Are you bothered? I'm not really bothered. Go on, give me another pinnacle. NASA. Working with Americans, I wouldn't get on with Americans. Who else? Give me another job. What else would be like? CERN. Oh, CERN, Large Hadron Collider. Yeah, but to be honest, I don't think I'm clever enough for that. Yeah. I just feel very honoured to work on one. I say, oh, it's a bit much, I'm a bit of a dither.
Look, I've got a right smile on my face. I thought that was mint.
The Supermarine Spitfire is the legendary fighter plane which helped win the Battle of Britain in the summer of 1940. However, the Spitfire Guy was going to help restore, designation N3200, crash-landed on the beach at Dunkirk 6 weeks before the Battle of Britain began. He was providing cover for the mass evacuation of British troops from mainland Europe.
Yeah, it was a bit of a trophy to the Germans. I'd have a few choice words for them boys. Who had the last laugh, eh?
Its pilot was squadron leader Geoffrey Stevenson.
Geoffrey Stevenson, that's it. The original pilot, yeah.
Stevenson survived the crash and the war, but eventually lost his life flying a fighter jet in 1954. In 1986, N3200 was dug out of the sand.
It was an American bloke that was funding it, wasn't it? That owned a chain of private hospitals.
And taken to RAF Duxford to be restored.
Yeah, some magic goes on in that place, boy, at Duxford.
I would be the sort of person that'd have something like that in my front room because it tells a story, doesn't it?
But you'd say, what is the point in keeping this? But no. It's just good for useful bits of information. How pipes was routed, how bits of wiring was routed. You know, like, look in here, look at all that in there. You see? Dig about and you can find name tags on stuff. Look, lamp port, look, on the wiring. There's just loads of... You know, don't fart near it, it'll drop to bits. Yeah.
Over the next 2 years, Guy spent a lot of time at Duxford,
Look at that. Like a glove.
helping the expert team there painstakingly rebuild N3200.
That'll blow your mind. Just the detail on everything, every last little thing. And there's no, it'll be right. It's just got to be perfect. It's got to be perfect. No grey areas. It's dead simple. Sure, the writer is wrong. Just perfect. So yeah, the whole idea is getting this edge here to line up perfectly. You see it? Up there, that's spot on there, isn't it? But up here, we've got a bit of a gap, and then it closes up back up there. It's taken off 5 times yesterday. It's been on and off 5 times today, and probably another 5 more times, just to get it perfect. I do look a bit younger, don't I? I do look a bit younger. Perfect. Has to be perfect. No ifs, buts, or maybes. Perfect. I think I've only brought me back once at that stage. I've had a tough paper round since then.
Halfway through the build, Guy got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I'm having a go in a Spitfire. I know Spitfires are only single-seaters, but they did late 40s as training planes. There was a lot of twin-seaters made, and that's what I'm having a go in.
This is my first go in a Spitfire, yeah. 2-seater Spitfire, yeah. They was all built in Northern Ireland, those. Yeah, there's not many of those about, is there?
In fact, this is one of only 4 2-seater Spitfires still flying in the UK.
Well, what do you think, guys? Absolutely brilliant. We're doing just over 200 miles an hour. What a job, eh? What a job.
Yeah.
Put your hand on the control column. Yes. Okay. You have control. Okay, so... Right. I can't believe how sensitive it is. And by the way, look forward, and you'll see my hands are up here. I can see it, yeah. You're flying a Spitfire.
Flying a Spitfire, yeah.
Jolly good, well done.
The whole experience then got even better for Guy.
Look over your right shoulder. Yeah. Because we might be about to get a surprise.
Oh, what? Yeah, and then you got a bloody Messerschmitt out.
You're getting nervous now, and you're thinking, I know the bad guys are around.
I saw it in the bloody sky.
See that? Yeah, I can see him.
I didn't know he was going to have a Messerschmitt, and then we got in a bit of a dogfight.
You didn't see him, and you weren't moving your wings about. You're about to get shot down.
So we had a dogfight with the bloody Messerschmitt.
Right, now we really are in the tailspin. Really? You've done this before, haven't you? Yeah, I'm out to like it.
This, yeah, the best thing ever. Look at that.
About now I'm going butter, and hopefully I'll hit him.
Dogfight, eh, with a bloody Messerschmitt. Lucky.
Back on the ground, Guy helped to fit the Spitfire's engine.
The engine it had in it is the Rolls-Royce Merlin, the legendary engine.
Every last little thing. And like the engines, that was a Mark 1. And really the sensible thing to do would be put the later engine in because the Mark 1, it was unreliable.
The 1,000 horsepower Merlin 3, the same type of engine that was originally fitted to N3200, was hoisted into place by truck mechanic Guy.
Right.
Yeah. Getting excited. You're not beating that, are you? I could fit as many Scania clutches, I could fit as many Volvo turbos as I like, and nothing's going to beat that. Putting a bloody Merlin in a Spitfire. I've got a Merlin, yeah.
I got that engine after this. So I just thought, oh, I want one of those. And then I managed to find one, and then I ended up getting a Merlin 26, which was out of the right-hand wing of a 1942 Lancaster bomber that runs, on a trolley that runs.
You got any petrol? Are you boys excited? I'm genuinely excited. Well, I get a bit nervous, thinking that it's going to take us. The last time, it did take off.
Decided it'll be in the garage at work. But it took off, knackered one of me push bikes. Knackered the door on a wagon. Took all the stairs down at work. It was like a bloody bomb scene, it was. I wasn't very popular.
I still get all goosebumps. I still get goosebumps. Oh, it's mega.
Finally, in spring 2014, the most authentic restoration of a Mark I Spitfire ever was complete. And to watch N3200 fly again, Guy was joined by Victoria and Verian, the daughters of Jeffrey Stevenson, the plane's original pilot.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready for this?
Wow. Beautiful. Ooh. Gorgeous.
Yeah, just as a map one should.
Yeah, it's bloody great, isn't it? You just forget what's gone on.
Squadron leader Stevenson's Spitfire could now fly again. From the very same runway it last flew from in 1940.
It's just all a bit magical.
That's your dad's plane. Eh?
Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at the speed. Oh, man.
Oh.
God, it's like silk, isn't it?
Hey.
That is something.
To get an emotional response out of me would take a fair bit of doing, really. I genuinely got a shiver down the spine.
Yeah, it was quite an emotional day, that, wasn't it? Oh, it's great. The whole project was bloody brilliant. Any idea what happened to that plane? Did it stay over here? It's still at Dugsford, is it? What did they reckon that was? What was 3 or 4 million quid or something? It was something daft, wasn't it? It's a lot of bloody money, that.
Next, Guy looks back at what was by far his most ambitious War Machines project ever.
This, without question, is a massive undertaking, the biggest job to date.
Building entirely from scratch, a perfect replica of a World War I tank.
Another proud moment.
In his shed, Guy Martin has settled down to watch 4 of his shows for the very first time.
I'm not into watching myself on telly, to be honest, boys.
Tonight's Guy Martin box set contains the projects in which he got hands-on with some of Britain's most iconic war machines. Next up, by far his most ambitious and daunting build project ever.
The tank. What do you reckon that is? A couple of years ago.
When Guy wanted to construct a complete tank from scratch.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the TV, this wouldn't have happened.
And not just any tank, the world's first proper battle tank, the Mark IV, an extraordinary British invention which changed the world.
Built it from bloody scratch. And it was sort of timed about right for the 100th anniversary of the first time a tank was any use in a war situation, the Battle of Cambrai.
Guy began with a trip to northern France to learn just what had happened at the Battle of Cambrai 100 years earlier, on the 20th of November, 1917.
These are the ones whose bodies they couldn't find. Bloody hell.
Is that right? 7,048. Now that's a battle, isn't it?
Guy met up with local historian Philippe Gorczynski.
You know everything about the Battle of Cambrai.
It's my passion for history and my passion for the area here.
Bloody hell, he was bloody clued up, wasn't he? He owned the hotel we stayed at, didn't he? Yes.
Philippe's passion led him on a 6-year quest.
I was determined to find a tank. That was my mission. It became like a drug.
In 1998, he succeeded and recovered a Mark IV called Deborah that had been buried on the battlefield for 79 years.
And that changed my life forever.
That's the one.
That's the one.
100 years old.
Next, to explain how the tank made its name at Cambrai, Philippe took Guy to the heart of the battlefield.
We are right inside the last trenches of the British defense system, which face the no man's land. So which means we are in the front line. This is the front line.
The plan was to use 375 of the new Mark IV fighting tanks to smash through the heavy defences at the centre of the German Hindenburg line.
Yeah, when I was there, I picked up a bit of barbed wire from the Hindenburg line. Got that, yeah. That's in the other shed.
You have just to imagine that the line of tanks, to be correct, it's a tsunami of tanks.
A tsunami of tanks, I remember that.
And that is a line of something like 8 kilometers. And all that line was filled with tanks.
The speed and size of the attack caught the Germans by surprise.
Look at all the bloody tanks.
On that first day, the British Army advanced an incredible 5 miles in a war where daily battle advances were usually counted in feet. The Mark IV tank had just changed warfare forever. Back in the UK, Guy got on with the business of building his tank. Using an amazingly detailed design drawn up by a 22-year-old German model maker called Thorsten Brand.
You just think, what? This young German lad that drew the whole tank in CAD.
British engineering giant JCB agreed to build the tank's hull.
Because let's be honest, if it wasn't for JCB, it would have been next door to impossible without their help, wouldn't it?
Specialist engineering firm Chasted manufactured hundreds of smaller detailed parts, including track plates, gun mounts, periscopes, and hatches.
It's more than the icing on the cake. Just hold on a little bit. You won't be right without these bits.
And at the Norfolk Tank Museum, Stephen Mackay took on the job of making Guy's tank move.
What's your trade?
Self-taught mechanic.
Yeah. Fair play. Steve, his enthusiasm sorting an engine out.
Yeah. 6-cylinder, Rolls-Royce, petrol engine, B60, 130 brake horsepower.
Stephen also had an inventive idea for where they could get the gearbox and back axle for the tank.
We went just down the road from his to dissect that tractor, didn't we? Nick the back end out of this tractor and... Remember?
I will use the magic spanner. Are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
It's a cheap, but we're using exactly the same as what they used years ago. Like they selected a back axle, a gearbox from a lorry, adopted it and put it into the tank because they built these vehicles from nothing.
All the gears are there. High and low works, reverse works. Job's peach.
As his tank began to take shape, Guy got a chance to see how these war machines have come on in 100 years. He visited the Royal Tank Regiment, who operate 52 state-of-the-art Challenger 2 battle tanks, each one costing £4 million.
Let's have a look inside. Yeah. No, you're not allowed in, mate. You're not allowed in. Top secret.
Under here, these are charges, so these are just full-on explosive charges.
Yeah.
That's part of the gun computer. Allows you to fire on the move.
Right.
I mean, you think the World War I tank was just an aim of point and mostly guess.
Yeah.
Whereas now, basically, wherever we point on a target,
Yes.
up to 2 kilometres, it will hit. I mean...
Not, it might, it will.
It will hit.
After the guided tour, Guy got to experience what a modern battle tank is capable of.
Go, go, go. Up to the board, boy, come on.
Where do we do that? Salisbury Plains.
Get the speed up down here and stuff. Here you go. Slow it down. And go for it, go for it. There you go.
Come on, lap in.
Compared to what they went through, 100 years ago, I think we've got it pretty easy. We don't have carbon monoxide going straight through the turret. We've got air conditioning, we've got a crew heater, we've got a kettle, most importantly, so we can make tea.
If you want to confuse the enemy, you've got your smoke generators that fires neat diesel straight into the exhaust.
Spot on, mate.
We're gonna have to give these a spray in the washdown.
Yeah.
Otherwise we'll be in the shit.
It's good to watch that, isn't it?
Back at JCB, the finished hull of Guy's tank was loaded onto a truck for the 5-hour drive to the Norfolk Tank Museum. Once there, it was painted, the tracks were fitted, and after a few teething problems...
Hey, keep going.
Whoa!
That's spinner out.
The working engine went in. It was ready for its first test drive. On board, a minimal crew of 3, Stephen operating the brakes, Chris Shenton from JCB on gears, and Guy operating the clutch and throttle.
This is a temporary throttle at the moment. Right, you ready?
Yes, go for it.
Sounds a treat, doesn't it?
Some rasp off it, they're molten pipes.
Sounds like a Lancaster bomber.
It sounded good, but would it move?
All right, yeah, more red. Just a little bit.
Loved it. Bloody loved it.
Sounds a treat, doesn't it? That sounds a treat. How good does that sound?
That's absolutely brilliant.
Look at Chris. Look at Chris. Look at a smile on his face.
Absolutely brilliant. It's been a long journey, and
Yeah.
to bring it out of that shed and hear that engine running really is phenomenal.
What a piece of kit.
Yeah.
Done well, that went well. Very, very pleased.
Just 4 weeks later, the fully finished and painted tank was back on a truck and rolling onto a cross-channel ferry. Then, in the early hours of November the 11th, 2017, the most accurate replica of a Mark IV tank ever made arrived on the battlefield of Cambrai.
This is the first place the tank was a success in a battle situation. We're in the middle of the battlefield. Where it all set off from, really, where the lead commander gave the lead tank the flag and said, right, get cracking.
Named Deborah II after the tank Philippe had dug up from the battlefield, and with a crew made up of all those who had contributed to the project, Guy's tank was finally ready to roll.
Right, we all ready, Joyce?
All right.
Right, you ready?
That's all right, isn't it? Oh, we're moving now, mate.
When I was in the tank and we did that trip up the road in Cambrai, well, no, it was more about hoping it wouldn't break down and trying to be as mechanically sympathetic as possible, keeping the thing in a straight line. So really, I didn't get wound up in the emotion of being at Cambrai, being there on Remembrance Sunday with the replica map. I didn't get wound up in all that. My mind was fully occupied with keeping the tank in a straight line and trying to be as mechanically sympathetic as possible. And it did the job. It did the job.
Just to see the tank just on the top of the ridge like that, it's looked fantastic.
And to think of the 375 in a line, 6 kilometres long, would just be unbelievable.
For me, it's very emotional.
that gone into that? You know, it's quite simple. 100 years. 100 years. Oh, then yeah, we had the man with the bugle. Proud moment. Yeah, another one. Another proud moment. Yeah.
And for Guy, just as important as the astonishing achievement of building a Mark IV tank from scratch is its legacy.
We made a programme about it, and it's left a legacy behind because the tank's still in the Norfolk Tank Museum, so you can still go down and get a look at it. It'll just get people thinking, and it'll just carry it on, which is what needs to happen.
Next for Guy on his TV viewing schedule, the story of a more modern British engineering masterpiece.
That was noisy. That was noisy.
When he joined the team that kept the world's last airworthy Vulcan bomber flying. In his shed, Guy Martin is enjoying an evening of watching TV. Not something he does that often.
Because I'm all into the doing. I'm not into the sit down with a cup of tea and watch them, really.
On his schedule tonight, War Machines. And 4 shows he's made, but has never ever seen before.
Yeah, I can say this with a straight face. I've never watched any of them.
Next into the DVD, a much-loved giant of the skies.
The Vulcan.
Oh, we love a new project. We love a new job.
While the Spitfire project Guy watched earlier was all about keeping that plane flying.
Look at that. It's just massive. It's the size of the sky.
This show would culminate in the last airworthy Vulcan bomber making its last ever flight.
We wasn't trying to keep it in the air. The idea of the programme was to highlight the reason that it can't stay in the air.
At the time Guy got involved, the Vulcan was just 4 months away from making her very last flight. Designation XH558, and called the Spirit of Great Britain, it was considered too old and too complex to keep airworthy.
That the airframe, that's 7,000 hours on it, more than any other Vulcan. You know, so it was just going into the unknown. You just didn't know if the thing was going to drop to bits in the sky. This is classed as a complicated aircraft. Oh, you can keep Spitfires and Lancaster flying, but they're still quite simple. It's just plugs and points. You know, there's not like these have all mechanical computers on them. They're just so complicated. So complicated. Mind-blowing.
The Avro Vulcan was the plane that protected the nation. A Cold War icon designed to launch a massive nuclear retaliation against the Soviet Union.
Blue steel or something, wasn't it? That was our atomic bomb, wasn't it? You had to deliver that. 4 Rolls-Royce Olympus, same as Concords. You just wouldn't think, you wouldn't believe that that was the replacement to the Avro Lancaster.
The Vulcan was a remarkable leap forward in aircraft design. A wholly British creation, it was capable of carrying a 5-ton nuclear payload to Moscow in less than 3 hours. And it sounded like nothing else in the sky.
It makes that noise between 85 and 97% throttle. They didn't design it to do that. It just happened that it's the air rushing through the engines, down the tunnels. You know, it's like a resonance. It's like blowing over the top of a milk bottle.
136 Vulcans were built, but by 2015, this was the only one left flying. It had been bought from the British government in 1992 by businessman David Walton.
Do you know how much he paid? Got the original mag and the original advert. Anyway, in '92, he paid £25,000. You know, you do think that initially, God, £25,000, get a Vulcan bomber for £25,000, great. But then you've got to think, how are you going to explain that to the missus?
Guy joined the Vulcan's maintenance team led by Chief Engineer Kevin Taft-Stone
Pleased to meet you.
as they performed this plane's very last service.
Yeah, they were proper. All of those blokes.
The first job was to test 558's engines.
This is a jet engine to start the jet engines.
We're clear behind Sam.
Let's start four.
And start master's on.
Ignition is on.
Okay, air is on 4.
Buttons in.
That was noisy. That was noisy. I wouldn't have a clue how many decibels that was, but it was bloody rattling.
Take some beating, that, boys. Take some beating.
Thanks, everyone. All complete. Everything went well.
All right, the ground's shaking, but as well as the ground, it's like my innards are moving inside me. Oh. One of them, I've never felt anything like that. But yes, test passed. We're one step nearer to a final flight. It's going to be emotional.
Next, Guy got to experience the Vulcan in the air.
I wasn't allowed to fly in the Vulcan, sort of understandably, because I wasn't military. So I flew in a plane next to the Vulcan, which is still bloody amazing.
It's a bold statement, but I don't think there's anyone that's got any nearer to a flying Vulcan than me. I reckon I could have jumped onto the Vulcan. That's how close it was.
Bloody hell. Look at him go. Mega. Perfect, guys. Thank you very much.
Well, that's never going to happen again, is it? We just all went to mush. I've just been sat the whole time just gazing at the thing. Just gazing at it. I'm still shaking my head. You give me a minute. Give me a minute. Have a cup of tea.
The show culminated with the Vulcan setting off on its last flight tour of the UK.
Oh, this is its last trip round. Did the full circumference of the country. And all the iconic spots, like did a flight over Manchester where it was originally built.
It's happening. I got a bit of a shiver on, man. I got a bit of a shiver on, man.
Look at the bloody size of it. Look at the bloody size of it.
Oh, yeah, I can see it now, right in front.
Bloody hell. See, I've never seen this.
Keep him coming. Keep him coming.
There's Grand Martin, is actually.
Yeah, why'd you bring back some memories out? Just the rarest feeling.
Next, Guy rounds off his War Machines box set with the story of his daring tribute to the soldiers of D-Day.
Plan was to go do something right and good at the end.
And along the way, our boy takes a beating.
He's hammering.
In his shed, Guy Martin is on the last leg of an evening telethon. watching 4 of his TV shows for the first time. Tonight's theme is War Machines, and Guy's finishing up by watching his most recent project, a celebration of the 75th anniversary of D-Day and the Dakota.
The idea of the Dakota, I got chucked out the back of it.
The Dakota is one of the world's most successful aircraft designs, and in military spec, a workhorse of the Second World War.
100% an unsung hero. Yeah, just like a truck, just did the job. There was no glory, it wasn't like the Lancaster and the Spitfire with all the glory of shooting planes down and dropping the bomb. You know, it wasn't like that. It was just a bit of a workhorse, just taking anything to where it was needed.
On D-Day, Dakotas played a vital role, flying thousands of paratroopers across the Channel to parachute behind enemy lines and disrupt attempts to defend against the seaborne invasion. To celebrate the role of the Dakota and paratroopers on D-Day, Guy wanted to recreate that mass parachute drop, and his preparation began with a taste of paratrooper training.
What do we call it, that trinasium?
Move your feet!
I was cringing for these boys. Just the shouting.
Get your arms up! Lift your foot! Get up! Right, stop!
Fair play.
Touch your toes.
Fair play. He's done it.
So I'm watching the proper paras go through it, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to be going through this. I was nerves were building.
Happy?
Yes, Steph.
Sure?
Yes, Steph.
Nervous?
No, Steph.
You will be.
I'm nervous, yeah. Look, I'm sort of tensing up a bit, just sat watching it. Bloody hell, because I've not seen any of this.
Go. Get away. Let's go.
He means business now, so now I'm in, all right, whatever you say I'm doing.
Hey, climb up. Let's go.
Guy climbed to the top, 6 stories high.
Your arms out wide. Shimmy along. Get across it. Get across it. Now. Do not touch the bars. Get over it. OK, climb down. Stop it! Jump! Go! Keep going!
Oh, yeah, it's not a massive jump if you was 1 foot above the ground. But 40 foot up there, that's a big jump. Wow, I've got your man shouting at us.
Phase 2. When I say sprint, you sprint. When I say grenade, you're going to dig in with your eyelids.
God, nervous, boy.
Go, sprint! Get going! Give it! Grenade! Get down! Get down! Good! Get down! Crawl! Crawl, you idiot! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Come here! Come here. What did I say to you? When I say grenade, you get down! Do you understand? Yes, you need to get down! You'll get killed! You will die! Sprint! Go! Let's go! Let's go! Grenade! Crawl!
That's hard work, that. I was blowing out my...
Get up! Get up! Look up you going.
And I'm going into these woods.
Get underneath that.
I've got to go through this assault course, through this sort of...
Get through here! Get through!
Through this... These boys are hammering us.
Go, keep going! Keep low! Keep low!
I've got knackered. Yeah, you can see, as you can see, I'm there. I'm knackered. And I've got to do a boxing match now. And they haven't just got me Joe Bloggs to box, they've got me the para boxing champion. He's a lump of a bloke.
Straight punches, the target area is the face.
What the milling, they called it.
Right, straight punches. Gloves up!
Well, he knows the crack, he knows what the milling is, and he knows how to box. I don't know how to box.
Gloves up! Smash each other. No! Keep going, let's go! Let's go!
He's hammering me. Pushing me back in, I see, I forget.
Punch it! Stop!
Hammered. That's not glorified for TV, boys. That was tough.
Well done, good work. Good work.
Yeah.
That was probably the toughest air filming we've done. Really? I'd say that.
Next for Guy was a trip to France.
Land.
For parachute training.
Almost.
A bit nervous, a little bit nervous, yeah. What's the worst that can happen? Well, it's quite simple, really. What, you're going to torpedo into the ground at terminal velocity? I don't really want to be doing that. Ah, good old boy. Top old boy. Good old boy. Cheers, boss, thank you. Cock on. It's French.
anything goes wrong, that's one pull upwards.
Yeah, just
pull it
and
upwards.
it goes out. Put your legs out. Go!
Canopy control. I was chuntering away to myself there.
Despite a heavy landing on the runway, Guy's first ever jump was deemed a success.
It all came as a bit of a shock, really, because he just goes, jump! Let's go. And then I thought, oh, well, that ground's coming fairly sharpish. Next thing, I'm on the bloody runway.
On his second jump, he drifted a bit.
I ended up in a field.
Get your feet together, man. Get your feet together.
And he smacks my head. Yeah.
But it wasn't just you, was it?
No. One ended up on the roof, one ended up, yeah. We all ended up all over the place. I ended up in a field on the other side of the airstrip.
Right. See you in a bit. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, well, that's me in the field there. But you think, oh, you was filming there. It's only just there. But I had to walk like bloody 5 mile round. So it took me a couple of hours.
Go!
After another 3 jumps, Guy passed the training course with flying colours.
Best one yet.
Finally, the day Guy had trained so hard for arrived. He would be jumping out of this beautifully restored World War II Dakota.
It is a proper D-Day machine. You can see the pictures. The top line of how many aid missions it's done, how many paratroop missions it's done, how many glider missions it's done, and then the train at the bottom is the resupply. Peachy.
Thank you.
Before the jump, a 90-minute flight across the channel to the exact coordinates of the drop zone used by paratroopers who flew from this very airfield in 1944.
No second thoughts. Because I knew if I hesitated at all, I'd knacker everyone else's jump up, so I never had any... No. It was a bit nerve-wracking because I was the first man out there. And just a few boys had said, watch the rear tailplane when you're jumping out the back. And they said, boys have had the reds, lost the reds, smacked into it, knocked himself out. All you could see when you was at that back door was that rear tailplane. I'm nervous now watching this.
Drops on 11 o'clock. Go! Jump in. No hesitation at all.
Oh, we've got a bit of a twist on. Yeah, we're twisted. So you can't steer it really until you get the twist out.
Jump in. Jumpers out.
Oh, some buzz, that, boys. Some buzz. Just imagine doing that and getting shot at.
Oh, be all right, mate, if you want an electric fence. Oh. We're in Normandy. I've got my passport with me, officer. The gendarmes. Oh, bloody frightened of that bloody electric fence, man.
I'd have to translate that, you know, frightened. I'm frightened of that electric fence.
What would that have been like 75 years ago? The tension must have been unbearable.
That was only the drive to work, really. You know, they was landing to do a job. At what, 1 in the morning, eh? I was being shot at. Yeah, all right, mate. I've been thinking twice. Yeah, I'm doing it for a bit of crack, eh? Massive respect. Just... Hopefully, we've done the 75th anniversary of D-Day justice. Just had a tiny bit of the experience of what those boys had. Just a tiny bit.
100%. I'd go again. I loved it. Loved the whole experience. Loved the training. Loved it. It was bloody brilliant. Great experience, boys.
So 4 extraordinary projects. But what do they all mean to Guy now?
It's been amazing. But really, for me, it's been about the people I've met along the way.
Oh, that is something.
You're wasted as a motorcyclist. You should have been one of us.
What are you thinking?
What am I thinking?
Yeah.
God help us.
And for me to get chucked out the back of it to go, that was great and all, but really it was about learning what those boys went through. You know, on the build-up to D-Day and getting chucked out, you know, all the training in the tank, bloody Cambrai, rattling across the battlefield in one of them. Yeah, it's about the people. I bloody loved it.